Greetings, YouTube. Today, I'm going to talk about spoons, and not just any ordinary spoons. In fact, I'm not actually here to talk about this particular spoon, but I'm going to. This is an actual silver spoon I picked up at an antique shop. Was it Heirloom Pinto or something like that? I'm not sure, but it's got silver plating on it, and this is the spoon I use on a daily basis for eating dinner. This is my favorite dinner spoon. I kind of like this one. No, today I'm here to talk about unusual spoons, and I've got 3 unusual spoons, and 2 of these are of the horn variety. So these are apparently a little dusty because I haven't used them in a very long time, but these are made from actual horn from steer, your bovine variety, and I don't remember where I picked these up. I picked them up at an SCA event many moons ago. But they're very nice quality. They've aged really well. I've used them extensively, and they've lasted a really long time. You can see right through this particular one, which is a nice feature. I think that's kind of cool. The fact you can, it's translucent, which is quite nice. And I think I picked these 2 out of a selection because they were very, very similar in shape and size, because there's going to be some variations in these things because they are made from a natural material, but you can see that they're very consistently produced, and these are handmade. So you can see this person actually knew what they were doing. There are some slight variations between the 2, but they are very close to each other. Not quite, flatware consistent, but well within the wheelhouse of handmade items. And I like the feel, the size. They're nice and smooth. There's no rough edges or anything on them. I also think it's very comfortable in the hand. And if you're doing scooping, they're large enough to actually scoop servings, and small enough that you can actually eat with them. And good for soup and such like that. Now, this video is also going to be about my most unusual spoon. And here we go. This is my most unusual spoon. I actually don't know what wood this is. I have no idea what wood this is. And yes, that is the face of a dragon. And it has malachite eyes. Low-grade malachite, mind you, but malachite nonetheless. And I'm fond of malachite as a stone. The dragon is my Chinese astrological sign. I am from the year of the dragon. Not to mention I am fond of dragons as a player of Dungeons & Dragons, and as just a fan of fantasy imagery in general. So you can see this is a definite piece of art. There's no way around this. I think, if I remember correctly, I paid $22 for this very long ago. Let's see, probably 23 or 4 years ago, so something like that. And you see the carver used a stippling effect here to create the scales on this section, and then actual carving for the more detailed neck section under the chin. And the stippling effect is used here for the scales on the head, for the smaller scales. This is all in here is actual carving. If you could, I don't know if you can quite hear that, but there actually are lines carved in there. Excellent use of work on the nostrils, and the teeth. I really like the fact that the piercing gives you the impression of a toothy grin, and the slight smile here. Like, yes, definitely, this thing has a grin to it. I'm really hoping. Yeah, I've been trying to stay in frame, which is what that blue square is, or rectangle is, trying to help me stay in frame, because at the moment I can't actually see my screen. But I've actually used this on many occasions. It is a little thicker than you may be used to for people who have never used a wooden spoon for actual consumption. For example, this is very, very close to what you'd find in a steel spoon or a silver spoon. This is a little bit thicker. But it is very good at scooping because it has a nice deep bowl. But there's something very warm about using a wooden spoon. It feels different because it's far lighter than a steel spoon. And I think that dark spot is because I actually burned it slightly on something. Wouldn't surprise me. It also sits on that spot. And when I would go to SCA events, I would carry these spoons here in this tube, which is just a piece of packing cardboard. I actually had spray painted the entire thing. The paint kind of came off the end of that one. And then I had this cap just stuck in the end like this. And this is how I would transport. I would also I had an eating knife I would carry in here as well. I don't think I actually ever carried a fork. I didn't have a fork that really fit the feast vibe, I don't believe, so I never carried one. The eating knife and these 3 spoons were quite sufficient for my eating needs when it came to feasting. But yeah, love this thing. It's a work of art, and I was very glad that I located it recently because I actually hadn't seen it in quite a while. My wife found it. I was very happy. So I thought I'd show it off.